Hey everyone out there in Hot Rod Land, it's Phil coming to you once again from Carcraft Classics. Today we are showing off this gorgeous 1965 GTO Convertible. It's one of the nicest cars we've ever spotlighted here at Carcraft Classics. But before we get started with that car and all the details that go with it, for anybody watching one of my videos for the first time, this is Carcraft Classics. We're located at 321 Canton Road here in Cumming, Georgia. We're about 30 miles north of Atlanta and about 40 miles, or 40 minutes, I should say, north of the airport. Phone number for the shop is 470-239-4977. My name is Phil, I'm the owner here, and my phone number is 770-317-1415. Feel free to call or text with any questions you might have about this car or anything else in our inventory. Here at Carcraft Classics, we sell these classic cars and trucks, and we also sell neon signs and wheel and tire packages and novelty items for your man cave with the Petroleana theme. So give us a holler. You can also reach us via email at carcraftclassics@gmail.com, and be sure to visit us on the web, where there will be 70 plus still shots of this gorgeous GTO here in just a few hours. We'll put that up on the website. Web address is carcraftclassics.com. So, this car, staggeringly gorgeous. Of course, everybody's familiar with the Pontiac GTO, but some people may not be familiar about, how it started. Back in the early to mid 60s, the American public was clamoring for cars that were not just for family outings. All of the top manufacturers were making these four-door family cars, and they were snazzy, they were nice, they were stylish, but people wanted more sound, they wanted more power, they wanted sportier cars. And that's when John DeLorean and a couple other designers at Pontiac created the GTO, which is commonly referred to as the first American muscle car. So we've got an icon here, guys. Make no mistake about it. This thing is making me weak in the knees. And this particular car, this particular GTO, has all of the most sought after options that you could get in a Pontiac GTO back then. So we're real proud of this one. It's for sale, but it's not on sale, and I doubt this car will ever be on sale. This thing is worth every damn dollar. Okay, so before we get started with some particulars here, before I get in under that hood in the jewelry box, start showing off some of those options I mentioned a moment ago, just want to tell you a little background. This car came to me from a local gentleman. Unfortunately, the owner passed away, and they left the car to another family member who brought it to me. And I couldn't be happier. I am just ecstatic to be able to offer this car to the public. The gentleman bought this car, the previous owner that passed away, bought this car from a woman in Costa Mesa, California. So to my knowledge, this is a California car until it was brought from that rust-free state to this rust-free state, Georgia. So there's no surprise that this car is rust-free, because it hasn't spent much time in an area of the country where you would, have that rust problem. It's been in a dry California and dry Georgia. Costa Mesa, California. It spent most of its life out there, and a few years back, the previous owner purchased it from someone out there and brought it here and began some real tasteful upgrades that I'll touch on as we go around in the video. And one of those tasteful upgrades, for the Pontiac enthusiast, they probably can already have picked it out. This car has a Pontiac, a 1965 block, or 65 or 66. We did a little bit of research because this is such a valuable car. We did check, unlike some of my other vehicles that I sell where it's not as important, we did check to see if this one was numbers matching. And what we found is We're not able to honestly say to you that this engine and transmission came in this car, but we were able to verify that this engine and transmission is a 65 or 66 Pontiac setup. We believe that it came, this engine and transmission, in a larger car like the Bonneville or one of those models, based on what we can decipher with the numbers that we found on the block, the transmission casing, the rear end, etc. But it was common back in the day when people would blow an engine. They'd go to the dealer and try to get one that was period corrected to install in the car, and I think that's what we have here, based on, again, the research that we've done. And speaking of research, I did send this car or the VIN number to the PHS, the Pontiac Historical Society, and they did a whole bunch of research for me, and all those details are going to be in the full ad for this car. I'll try to remember that stuff as we walk around the car, but I'm sure I'll miss something. So be sure to visit us at carcraftclassics.com. Click on the inventory page, scroll down and click on the picture of this car. Another page will open, and in that page you'll have all the build details, all the photos, and of course another link to this video. All right, so what was the most sought after engine for the 1965 GTO? It was the 389 with the tri-power, meaning the 3 2-barrel carburetors, and you see them right there. The holy grail, baby. With the GTO package that you got in 65, you got the chrome valve covers, the chrome air cleaners, and if you had a single air cleaner, you got a chrome single air cleaner as well. So that's one of the things that came in the GTO package. And with the PHS report that we sent away for, they did indeed confirm that this is an authentic GTO convertible. There's the trim tag, because I know you guys are going to ask. There'll be also a very clear photo of that trim tag in the ad. So again, be sure to visit us on our website. All right. So from the factory, we have a 389 V8 with a tri-power intake manifold and 3 2-barrel carburetor setup. Again, the holy grail. Also, we see power steering. Also, we see the upgraded radiator with all the proper stickers on the shroud. Now, this car, I believe, came with drum brakes all the way around, but one of those tasteful upgrades I mentioned a moment ago that was done by the owner here in Cumming, Georgia, when he got his hands on the car, was the upgrade to front power disc brakes. I've got the paperwork from the swap, and there you see the booster with the dual master cylinder. As far as exhaust, you see down there it's got the factory exhaust manifolds and dual exhaust all the way out the back. We just put a battery in it this month. Didn't really need much when it got here. You can see basically you have a factory original engine bay here. The PHS report also confirmed that this is the original color. Now, I believe it's original paint. It is Montero Red, which was the most desirable color. I guess that's based on personal preference, but from what I've heard, that was the most desirable color for the GTO in 1965. And just a little quick history, in 64, you could get the GTO package on your Tempest. That's when they rolled it out as a upgrade package, but in 65, I believe, is the year it became its own model. So when you got the GTO package, you didn't get a Le Mans or a Tempest with the GTO package. It became a GTO. And you can see it's badged as such as you walk around the car. The GTO up in the grill. Sweet GTO emblem on the fender. Back here on the quarter panel. And there's one on the trunk lid I'll show you here in just a moment. Here's the trunk. It appears to not have any kind of replacement panels. The quarters Seem all original. I see no seams where they've been cut and replaced. It's got the factory trunk mat. And there you see is the boot in the matching color, that parchment color. Super slick. The matching boot will be included. Sorry about the sun glare, but there will be still shots for the entire vehicle, inside, outside, under the hood, and the undercarriage will be on our site on that inventory page. Again, just click on the photo of the GTO and you'll see 70 plus pictures. Absolutely pin straight. Looking down the sides, I see no spots where there's Bondo in the car at all. Body appears to be pin straight and original. I believe the paint to be original. I have no proof of that, but I see no tape lines. I see no weird fading. I see no overspray. I believe that's original. And again, as I mentioned, the PHS report did confirm that this car was an original Montero red car from the factory. Let's talk again about those tasteful upgrades that were done by the previous owner. You see the red line tires? The PHS report said this car came with skinny white walls, a steel wheel, and a center cap. But as you can see, it's got the red line tires, which were an option in 65. And it also has the Rally 1 wheels. Those 6-slotted Rally wheels. Those are Pontiac wheels. They were an option that year. These are the ones that everybody wants. And the previous owner found a set and installed them with those red line tires. I can't stress to you enough in what great condition this car is. The chrome, the bumpers, the bezels. There is some wear here and there, but I see, no restoration necessary. Everything is in great condition. It shows its age. There is some light scratches on, say, for example, the trim around the windshield, as you would expect for a 50-plus-year-old car. But everything's in very, very, very well preserved. You can tell this car was well taken care of. Privacy windows, the rubber around them is all in good shape. Side mirror, which I learned on the PHS report was also an option for that year. The metallic lining in the brake lines or something. I read about that. Now in 65 was the first year that the GTO had the stacked headlights. Remember in 64, when you bought it as a part of the Tempest, they were horizontal. There was dual headlights on each side, but they were side by side instead of stacked on top of each other. Absolutely stunning look. Iconic muscle car look with those stacked headlights. Wheel trim, wheel opening moldings, all good. Little rocker trim pieces in great shape. Took the pictures of the undercarriage already. Looks great under there. I mean, it shows its wear. The car shows, I think, 52,000 miles. So it's got some wear under there, but no rust, no rot, no holes, no showing of damage to the frame. Everything's in great condition. So again, I hate to keep bringing it up, but the PHS report is so helpful for a guy like me trying to market this car properly to the public out there. It gives me a lot of details about the car I would otherwise not have. And it confirmed not only the exterior color, as I mentioned earlier, but the interior color as well. This parchment, which is such a cool color. If you look at it, it's got a little flop to it like exterior paint. It's like an off-white. It's got a little flop in the color. got a little style to it. The dash has absolutely no issues at all. And it came parchment and black from the factory. Absolutely killer option having the convertible top. I'm sure everybody would agree. It's nice to be able to drop that top down, and that's a bright white top. We'll put that up for you in a few minutes. There you see the dual exhaust. Have it on both sides. All the lights work, all the systems in the car are in working order. Blinkers, the headlights, the bright lights, the brake lights. I'm kind of in awe of this car, to be honest with you. Just absolutely love it. And I love the stance. I know today everybody wants to lower everything. And in this case, this factory stance is more like a, you know, it's not lowered, it's almost raised up a bit. The front's probably due to new springs up front. And I noticed in the back it has air shocks. The tail end of the car was down a little lower, and we put air in them, I guess, about a week ago, and it's been holding fine. So those shocks are good. Factory suspension upgrade was part of the GTO package back then as well. So before we get into the car and fire it up and all that, I want to show you some of the provenance, some of the things that come with the car. And thought I'd mention also that that top is a power top. It's not a manual top, and that is working flawlessly as well. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself, but like all the other systems, the convertible top is working great. There's all kinds of controversy around this scoop in the front. I've been learning on the hood here how, as far as how functional it really was. Back in the day, I guess it was a popular argument, but I don't know if function or not, but it looks cool. Look at that thing. Anyway, let's take a break a moment and come over here to this table. I've got some things set up. I mentioned when we were in the trunk that it does include the trunk mat and the boot. It also has a factory spare and the jack. Here we have a car cover. This folder here includes a lot of the old stuff showing that the car came from California, a bunch of receipts from parts that have been purchased over the years. Got a lot of history to the car. Also in the car was this GTO restoration guide, a couple of these books here, which, you know, parts books and you know, just books about the GTO from back in the day. Here we also have an extra steering wheel that'll come with the car, extra fan belt. We've got the old GTO tail for to hang from the mirror, and we've got this extra dipstick that came from the previous owner. Here's that PHS report that I had mentioned a moment ago. Let's just take a quick look in there, see if I've forgotten anything came on there. Okay, so here we go. 389, 4 barrel is what it was born with. Montero red, parchment and black interior. White as far as the folding top. It does have a posi rear end. The Pontiac, as you can see, called it the safety track rear end. So it is posi. Did come with the 4-speed manual transmission, the M20 wide ratio. That's what's in there now. 4-speed manual transmission is still in the car. It's got the heavy-duty radiator, metallic brake linings. This is so cool to be able to grab this information. Here's that GTO package. It's got the 389. I guess some of them came with the 3-speed, but this one had the upgraded 4-speed. Sport type springs and shocks. Special T-blade fan and fan clutch. The red line tires, which this car had the white walls, like I said, and this recently been upgraded to the red lines. Chrome air cleaner cover, chrome rocker arm covers, GTO emblems. So that was the GTO package back in the day. Push button stereo, dual speed windshield wipers and washer tank. Let's see, instrument panel. That's something I haven't mentioned yet because we haven't been in the car, but it's got the rally pack gauges that include the TAC, which all the cars did not have. Okay, let's see, some lights, the power steering, safety track rear axle, we covered that. It does have seat belts, did come with a clock as well. Then there's all kinds of cool information that PHS sends you. I would highly recommend those guys about the numbers, the production numbers, etc. that were included in 65. So it's been somewhat of a history lesson having this car at the shop, which I just can't get enough of. So cool. So that'll be included in the sale, the PHS report. Also, we have this cool dealer brochure that will be included in the sale. And here's the California plate it had on it, GOAT 65. And then here we go, 65 GOAT, Forsyth County, Georgia. Super cool. So that, all those little tidbits, all those items will be included in the sale. And we're back to the Montero Red 65 GTO, baby. So again, $389 V8, connected to a 4-speed manual transmission, bucket seat car with middle console. Posi rear end, aka safety track rear end. Montero Red, white convertible top. You could ask for no more in life. This thing is the top of the top, baby. The first American muscle car. Check that thing out. Gosh, it's gorgeous. Pin straight, no rust, no problems. And that's one thing, you know, I've had a couple of these tri-power cars over the years. Not all Pontiacs. I had a Mopar, 6-pack car. I had a couple with the multiple carburetors. And one thing I remember, man, they are hard to tune. They are, and you know, carburetor guys are few and far between nowadays, as we all know. But this car, as I'll show you in a minute, it'll start right up and it runs great. I mean, when you pat the pedal, it's got a real soft pedal. You don't have to push real hard to push it to the floor. And it's super snappy and responsive, which I wasn't expecting, because again, sometimes when they have these multiple carburetors, tri-power, or even dual 4-barrels, they just fall out of tune if you let them sit for any amount of time. And I know this car's been sitting a little while, so I was expecting it to need a tune, but it is so turnkey ready, it's incredible. It starts up great, like I said. You hit the pedal, the response is incredible for a 50-plus-year-old car. All the lights work, all the directionals work. Doors open and close great. You can see the gaps are great on the car as well. You've heard me say this before if you watch my videos, this is an investment grade car. This car will never lose value and should only gain in value. Oh, baby. All right, stop drooling here. Show you the interior a little bit better, and then we'll show you that top going up and down. So again, PHS verified, parchment, off-white and black interior, factory original. There's those rally pack gauges I mentioned to you. Some of them did not have that tack to the right of the speedo there. So this car has the upgraded gauge cluster. Does not have air, but it does have a convertible top. You got the old beep handle. You know, I'm missing there a word I don't want to say on YouTube and get in trouble, but got the GTO emblem there to the left of the handle above the glove box. Beautiful middle console, 4-speed shifter with the Hearst style knob. All the lights work, including those little lights down there in front of the ashtray for the back seat. The footwell lights, everything's in working order. Wipers, everything. Got the old Pontiac steering wheel, and I believe that's an aftermarket steering wheel, and the one over there is the original, I believe. Love the pattern on the seats. And remember, this was the space age in America, so this kind of glossy kind of material didn't find in all cars, but the cooler ones had it. That's what I was mentioning before about the flopping on the interior. When the sun hits it, it kind of changes the color a little bit. All right, let's fire this sucker up. don't think I'm going to need to get in and pat the pedal. Exhaust has been done. It's got Flowmasters underneath it. I know it didn't come from the factory that way. Give it a listen. I don't think they put a cam in it. I think that's just how the 389 sounds. I think it just had a factory performance cam. She sounds almost as good as she looks. The VIN tag. That optional push button stereo there. Love it. Got the factory Pontiac floor mats. Got the GTO 6.5 liter emblems on the door panels. Windows all crank well up and down. Mama. All right, here, give me a second. I'm gonna put the camera down. I'm gonna put the top up for you guys and gals out there maybe watching the video, just so you can see that the top works. And we'll give it another walk around. There she is. Again, it's a nice crisp white top. I'm not sure if it's been replaced, but I'm going to guess yes, just since that plastic back window is crystal clear and we all know how those faded. But it's possible that's just been well preserved like the rest of the car. Top is in great shape. Left the lights on so everybody could see that the lights are working. Bright lights and the regular headlights. Again, all that's working, directionals, etc. All right, so the big question, what are we asking? We're asking $74,500. $74,500 for this car. And if you've been looking for a GTO, I'm sure you would agree that's more than fair for a 389 Tri-Power 65. Bucket seats, 4-speed manual, convertible in immaculate condition, ready to roll. Doesn't need restoration, doesn't need mechanical work, doesn't need anything cut and buffed, doesn't need anything. This car is ready to enjoy. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we were able to match the engine and transmission to the years 1965 and 66 with Pontiac/GM, but we weren't able to match it to this car. So we believe that maybe the original 389 4-barrel, someone blew it and then was faced with the challenge of having to install a new 389 and decided to go tri-power, since that's the most desirable setup that this car was available in back then. If this car was truly numbers matching with the tri-power, it'd be up over $100,000 as far as the value. So again, we think this 74.5 number is more than fair for the icon you have before you right here. So I'm sure I missed some details. So like I said, please go to carcraftclassics.com and go ahead and click on the inventory page. Scroll down and click on the picture of the GTO, and all the details I have will be listed there, as well as 70 plus photos, etc. $74,500. If you need financing, we can help. We work with Collector Car Lending. They're a great company, and they can have you approved in moments. Just let me know. I can send you the link, and you can apply quickly and easily online, get a quick answer. They typically require 20% down. The car does also come with a clean Georgia title. And if you want anything done to the car, we typically say in these videos that we can do light customization, but I would be shocked if anybody wanted to do anything to this gorgeous car. Everything's been done already. Unbelievable. So hopefully you're as in love with this car as I am, and you've enjoyed this video. I have to say thank you so very much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And again, there'll be pictures of the exterior, the interior, minus all the shadows you have out here in the sunshine. We'll get those pictures up on the internet here shortly. We'll get the undercarriage as well. So thank you so very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Be safe out there,